Hi there, hope you're well. Greetings from Barbrook, where I'm currently icing my Achilles after a run. So yeah, I thought it'd be a nice chance just to do a little vlog. And yeah, I was just thinking actually on a run about the topic I'd like to talk about. So I'll share it with you now. Yeah, it's happiness, and it's something that seems to have cropped up quite a lot recently, whether it's on with people that I follow on social media, or even a couple of friends as well have recently, yeah, just sort of given an indication really that they are struggling probably to be happy. And on the face of it, I was, they're not people who I'd expect to be unhappy. They're very intelligent people, very successful, both in sort of academia and in sports, and yeah, yet they, as I say, they said they weren't that happy, and it's something, again, I've probably not really got down to fine art myself, if I'm honest. I wouldn't say I'm unhappy, but yeah, I think that there's room for improvement, as yeah, I'm sure there's for a lot of us. So yeah, it got me to thinking as to what the potential causes could be when you see people who look successful and have every reason to be happy, why they might not be. And there's a few books that I'm going to mention now, which I think might give a few clues possibly as to why. So the first one is called Solve for Happy. And in that, he does actually, at the start, he talks about how it's in our nature to be happy. If you look at children playing, all the sort of the laughter and the smiles, it just seems to come very naturally to them. And also in the book he talks about how we often don't meet our expectations, and that's what makes us unhappy. And so therefore a real key is in endeavouring to lower our expectations, which might seem a bit counterintuitive, but that's backed up by another thing that I've read recently in the book called Sapiens. And yeah, that's very much looking at like humanity based on evolution, and harking back to hunter-gatherer days and what we would have done effectively in terms of workload during that time. And there's a lot of evidence to show that we would only really have laboured and worked and done chores for probably maximum of 4 hours a day, maybe a bit more if there's certain projects on the go, but yeah, only once like the agricultural revolution kicked in and we started to get a bit too clever for our own good, that we worked harder and longer in pursuit of an easier life, and lo and behold, didn't come to fruition. So yeah, as I say, like, we often expect too much of ourselves, and we often look at other people that we think are sort of achieving loads and aspire to be like that, but yeah, you don't know what their inner struggles are, and whether or not they are successful in being happy, I guess. Yeah, so expectations, it's a difficult one to lower them. It is a very counterintuitive, but yeah, might be worth considering. On that note as well, I've come across something recently called via negativa, and that sort of translates into the negative way, which might sound a bit strange when talking about happiness, but what it's saying is that the way to sort of go about achieving happiness is to take negativity out of your life, and also to avoid negative situations in the first place. And so again, if we are trying to do too much, then that might be something to consider. What can you take away that is having a negative impact on you? So yeah, I mean, by just doing too much, it creates a fatigue, and that fatigue can then plant things in your head that aren't necessarily true. And so yeah, I often sort of say to people, just because you think it doesn't mean that it is true, and sometimes all you just need is just to have a bit of a rest or a good night's sleep, and then a lot of things can resolve themselves, and you sort of think, what was I worried about after all? So yeah, it's a proper recovery just to stop you from inventing those problems in your head. Yeah, finally I'm just going to mention the happiness trap. I read that quite a while ago, but like, instead of trying to the sort of the interesting thing about that book is that it wasn't talking about things to do to make you be happy. It was just saying that just taking the time to listen to yourself, and it does talk about really kind of focusing on energy and like blockages and things like that, which I know can seem a bit strange to some people, but yeah, I mean, I've never done it. I'd never done it before that book, but I could really actually relate to what it was saying. And then, as I say, my body really did thank me in a way, just by spending that time and focusing in on where I felt tension, and not labeling that emotion, just purely listening to it. I've found it really helpful ever since I've read that book, in fact. So yeah, again, it's not trying to do things to make you be happy. It's just sort of actually listening to your body's own innate intelligence and letting that come to the fore, instead of trying to be too clever for ourselves. So yeah, there's a few things that I'm doing at the moment, as well as that trick I've just mentioned from the happiness trap, to try and make sure that I don't fall into the trap of doing too much, which I often do. But yeah, so just to mention a few of those in case they might help you as well. I am delegating a little bit more. So yeah, I've recently employed a teenager that's just finished the GCSEs to do a bit of very boring admin for me, but she was very happy to do it. And peopleperhour.com as well, I've recently discovered that, so they're going to be doing some of my more like techie online stuff at a very reasonable rate as well. I'm guarding my sleep a lot more as well. I saw a really good video on that, which I'll post a link to, that just said it's like the absolute key to everything, and so just having a bit more discipline surrounding my sleep is helping also. And then I've pledged not to take on anything new at the moment. I've got a very intense period of work coming up over the summer holidays with my children's camps, so whereas I have all these ideas that I want to get out into the world, yeah, I sort of realised that I'm not being fair to myself by trying to force it all out at the moment. You know, there'll come a time when the time is right, but for now I'm just going to focus on that one thing, and then focus on enjoying it as well, which hopefully I can, because I won't be too, you know, drawn in other directions to prevent that from happening. So I'm going to finish briefly now on a few wise words as well that my grandpa said, and it's quite timely because he passed away exactly a week today. But you know, it was time. Yeah, he was old and he'd had a good life, and the last couple of times that you know, we've been to see him, he's sort of smoked 50 a day or whatever for however long, so in his really gruff voice he says, "You've got to have a laugh. Remember, you've got to have a laugh." And yeah, I mean, he was sort of losing it in some ways, but that seemed to be the message that he wanted us to part with, and I just thought, yeah, like I have read before as well that they interviewed a load of people in like an old people's home once, and they asked like what their biggest regrets were, and it was that they had stressed too much and worried too much. So yeah, just no matter what's going on in your life that you think might you know, be worth worrying about, there's always a way to have a laugh. So try to remember that. And everything else I've said. So, no, I hope it helped. Anyway, okay then, take care. Have a good week. Bye bye.